to go live with Pastor Steve. He is going to be speaking at the Year of the Man Summit along with his wife, Danielle. She's blown up really recently on social media. So everybody who's new here, we wait just a couple seconds for everybody to come in. I'm going to wait for Steve to come in, request to join. Give me a second. I have to put my headphones on so we can start. How's everybody doing today? Let me know any questions that you have about men's mental health. Put them down below, and I will do my best to answer them before Steve comes in the room. Hey guys, welcome. We're waiting for Steve to come in the room. Today we are doing an IG Live with Steve. I'm actually not sure what his... Oh, God. Okay guys, any questions that you have about men's mental health, please put them down below. We are waiting for Steve to come into the chat. We're going to do an Instagram Live with him to promote the Year of the Man Summit, which is a free summit for men's mental health that I host every single year. You can click the link in my bio. It's free for men. This will be the third year doing it, and it's all entirely online. So there's different content creators, influencers, psychologists who come and offer their time to teach you guys tactics, tips, tools, action items to really propel you forward into the next level. So there are so many takeaways that you can get from that. And it's really quite life-changing. And these people usually have really high ticket offers. They have really, Steve's here. Okay. Sorry, Steve. I was looking for a different thing. Steve's here. We're just waiting for him to come on in. Hey, Steve.
Hi.
Steve, how are you?
Hey, girl. What's going on?
Living the best life, like always. What about you?
I'm winning. Just tying that win streak together.
Excellent. Well, good to see you. This is actually the first time we've ever met face to face.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you. So you are doing the Year of the Man Summit. Thank you so much for doing that. And you're going to be teaching men like the 4 tactics that they need to win.
Yeah, four mindsets for every man to get wins in his life. At least, I mean, I'm sure there's way more than 4, but my life, I kind of created a reduction sauce into those 4 categories and try to use that as a template for decision making.
Okay. Yeah. And you've had a lot of years of experience speaking and being a mentor and being a pastor. And I'm sure that with being able to boil them down to those 4 things, you've had to go through not a lot of successes, but also a lot of failures. Can you kind of walk us through any maybe of like the failures or misdirections that your life had before you ended up here in this place?
Well, I think that, it's all about, for men, and I think women too, I think human beings is about capacity. And capacity is not the fruit of luxury, it's the fruit of difficulty. And, if you want to go from a Dixie cup to a Sparkletts bottle, you got to go through something. And the bigger you are on the inside, the more success you have in the navigation of your situation. And so to me, we embrace the difficult times without losing our peace, without losing our focus, without losing our dream. Even when there's no indicators of hope, we got to believe. We keep grinding, and it doesn't really matter where we start from. It just matters that we've got a deposit on the inside of us that has to come out. It's already on the inside of you. You just got to unpack it. What you're looking for isn't out there. What you're looking for is in here. And so you just become aware of that and unpack it and inaugurate it, instigate it, activate it, and off to the races. Yeah.
Okay. And have you always had this strong of a mindset, or was there a turning point in your life where you said, I've got to start thinking more positive, I've got to start embracing the hardships, or did you have like a good network of people who always encouraged you and inspired you to be that way?
Um, I think you attract, you know, when Jesus was a little baby in a manger and three wise men came, I think when people recognize what's on the inside of you, if they're wise, they'll approach you. And and then they brought Jesus gifts. So sometimes gifts are their experience. But no, I don't know if I had a strong mindset because I I grew up in a really difficult situation. When I was 5 years old, my mom died. So, the way that computes to a 5 year old, at least this is what therapists have told me. And my main therapist is Danielle Hage. Uh, she's finishing raising me. And that's what's happening here. That's why you get married, so your wife can finish raising you, because your parents did an incomplete job. No, when I was just a kid, my mom died, so I had this abandonment thing. And, for a 5 year old to lose someone significant, it's really not what happens to us that is the issue. It's the lie that comes through the door of what happens to us. And then you attach your belief to that lie, and then your life lines up with what you believe. You believe and then you behave. You don't behave your way into believing, you believe your way into behaving. So when something devastating comes into your life and you attach belief that something's wrong with you, and that's why something happened in your life, then you spend your life in a deprivation conversation where you're looking for something out there to address what you have assessed is missing in here. So that was the deal. And so I got into trouble. We were a poor family. We were a food stamp, government cheese, government peanut butter family. We didn't have a lot of resources. My dad was navigating with no tools. And so, when you don't know how to control your situation, the only thing you know to do is get mad, because anger controls the environment, and anger actually takes the attention off of what's wrong onto calming the angry guy down. So we really never had any kind of development. And I was a juvenile delinquent. I was doing nutty things. And then I realized, I woke up one day and said, I'm not living this way. I'm not going to perpetuate. I'm not carrying the water for this mess. And that's when I discovered the Lord in my life, and at 13 years old. And then, sometimes God will give you a glimpse of your future. He'll open the curtain, show you what you're supposed to do, and then he'll close it and put you in school, and so I knew from a very young age that I wanted to impact the emerging generation. I wanted to work with young people at that time in my life. Back in the day, I was voted the #1 communicator to young people in America, and had the privilege of speaking on the United States Capitol to 300,000 young people and their parents. I wrote a book called Impact Principles to Influence the Emerging Generation that got some notoriety and put me in situations where I could make impact and leave a deposit in people's lives. So, and then from there, I'm older now, so, but I still feel like we have to prepare what's emerging, and so we have to work on ourselves in order, because we can only give what we got. So, at 13 years old, I had an awakening, and then I just started grinding and pushing past everybody who told me, like my dad would say, hey, you got a strong back and a weak mind. No one's ever going to follow you. Don't you know your last name is Hage? You're blue collar, not white collar. And I remember walking up the steps of the United States Capitol to talk to 300,000 people. And I'm like, how you like me now? You know, nobody's going to follow me. I'm about to grab the microphone and holler for $1 up in here. And, 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 and so it was a, you know, I lived my life trying to unwind what he had the post-it that he stuck on me. You're a follower, you're a blue collar, you're not a thinker, no one will follow you, you're unfollowable, don't you know your pedigree? And you know, at some point your alibis have got to be smaller than your dreams, you know. And so I just dreamed a big dream, and I believe we have a big God, and I just stopped letting excuses legislate my disposition. So yeah.
Wow, that is so powerful. And I love how at 13 you kind of had this awakening, and how, isn't it crazy how we have this template from our parents and we spend our entire lives almost trying to rewrite that template or our inner child to get back at our parents for, the wounds that they either purposefully or accidentally did to us.
Well,
And now that you're,
everybody at least has a father fracture.
mm-hmm.
And then when you operate from a value system, let me say it like this, if it's okay with you. But where does self-esteem come from? Where does self-esteem come from? Self-esteem comes from you attaching your belief to the opinion of the person that you hold highest. That's where I believe self-esteem comes from. So I had to, it didn't come from myself. You don't manufacture your self-esteem yourself. You get it from somewhere. So I had to come to the place where I had to think about what God, what my heavenly Father thought of me, not my earthly father. And then that caused me to unhook the U-Haul that I was hauling around with an outhouse in it, sloshing around, and everywhere I pulled in, I had this stinky life and these bad thoughts and these reduced opinions of what I could be, should be, called to be, destined to be. And once I locked in on what, I felt like the Lord had for me, how his opinion of me, and God's smarter than everyone who's listening to us. So he thinks I'm great. So I don't know what y'all's problem is. I'm going to align myself with him. And so that then in turn begins the healing process of changing your internal narrative from what they said about you to what he says about you. And then you're free to align yourself with God's opinion and then love people who don't know any better. So you get out of the weeds of being a victim, and then you're free then to, be the person. Like, I want to be the husband, Danielle, who you're going to love. I don't know if you've talked to her yet, but I want to be the husband that she deserves. And I want to be the man that she deserves. And I want to be the man that my kids deserve. And I want to be the man that my grandchildren deserve. So there is this impetus of saying, I have got to face the hard things, because if I don't pass it back to the cross, I pass it on to my children or my grandchildren. So I don't want to live my life carrying that U-Haul around. And everywhere I am, there's the evidence of the aroma of my pain and my problems. And so I think pain's the healing feeling, frankly. It gets your attention on what needs adjustment and what needs to change. And then you have to have the courage to change. You have to have the courage. Frustration, I was saying this yesterday when I was speaking, frustration is you know what to do, but you don't have the maturity to do it. So, you're just frustrated. You don't have the faculties developed to do what you know. So, listen, you're not going to get out of your situation. You got to grow out of your situation. Because how many of us have been carrying the level that we've lived for 10 years into every day? I mean, how many more days? I mean, how many more years you're going to try to lose that 5 pounds. Come on, man. How many more years are you going to be hurt over what they did to you or what you did to yourself? Like at some point, you have to show up and grow up so you don't throw up, I guess. So you got to get there.
100%. Well, and I love how you kind of emphasize the victim mentality. I would like to get your opinion. From what I'm seeing, I feel like we've kind of gone into society as like taking on the more victim mentality, that we aren't taking responsibility, and it's kind of easier to blame the government and ask for more, and every ex is a narcissist. Have you seen this pattern kind of come up a lot? And like,
it's unbelievable. It's like we had a bumper crop of narcissism.
Yeah, like
which
all of a sudden everybody is a narcissist. And
yeah,
instead of saying, I played a part in this destructive relationship, it's blaming it all on them. Are you finding that as well with the people that you're mentoring or that you're seeing in social media?
Well, I think I'm not trying to be nobody. You ask my opinion, but you decide what you will and will not allow in your proximity.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get to be that around me. You can go be that somewhere else. You want to be in my proximity? I don't talk to people who don't listen to what I have to say. Like, if you want to talk to me, you do what I say. If I notice that you're not doing what I say, I don't talk to you anymore. Go find somebody that will tickle your ears and tell you what you want to hear and give you permission not to change. If you're going to be around me, you got to man up. There's a big difference between being a male and being a man. You can be a male because you got plumbing, but a man takes responsibility for things that aren't even his responsibility. I'm responsible for everybody who has my last name. That's it. I have to take responsibility for everything that's malfunctioning in my relationship. Men get as much sex as they deserve.
That's interesting. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because
Well,
I feel like a lot of people would not agree with this. I hear
I
you
don't
now
care if they
laughing in the
agree.
background.
I've been married 43 years. I'm winning. I don't care. You don't have to agree. Like, you go lay your head in the bed of your decisions. I'll go lay my head in the bed of mine. And my life is awesome. I'm not trying to be nobody. It hasn't always been like this. I was at the bank today making a deposit, and the banker says, and Steve, how are you doing? I said, nothing's wrong. I said, now, I hadn't always been like that, but nothing is wrong right now. And it's been like that for a while. Why? Because men take responsibility. Males are just born that way. Look, you can get old by doing nothing. If you're going to mature, you have to put effort into it. And my philosophy that I believe is biblical, which that's my compass. I'm not trying to convert anybody, but why not if it works? But my understanding of my position and my role on the planet is responsibility. And so I take responsibility. That's it. If something's wrong in my home, I take responsibility. Well, it's her, and it's her thing. And Danielle's acting a certain way, and that your kid has got a mind of their own and all that. Look, I'm going to take responsibility to fix it. Even if it's the government's fault, I'm going to take responsibility. Even if it's my wife's goofy dad and, navel gazing upbringing, or he had to pull the guy's nose out of his navel because he was so busy looking at himself. And she was in that exposed to that. Like, don't bring that up in here. Don't bring that self-focus, except we don't have that kind of relationship, but I'm going to take responsibility. And I'm going to lead through it. I'm going to influence through it. And so that's what I mean. And when I said, men get as much sex as they deserve, treat your woman correctly. You're not a victim. You're not a victim of her headache.
I
Come
love
on,
that.
somebody. What?
You're not a a victim of her headache. That's
You
so
are not a
interesting.
victim of her 5-year long headache. I don't know. Like learn what says I love you to her and take responsibility. Well, I would never do that. Well, since when is relationship communism? Like, you know what? Men are men, women are women. I would never do that. So you're the standard by which the world is measured? No. Be a man and stop thinking a woman's going to act like a man.
Mm.
Who wants to be in a relationship with a man anyway? I mean, no offense to whatever you identify as, but I'm not going down there. I want to investigate, I want to observe, I want to notice what says I love you to the people that I care about. And if I want to get laid, I better pay attention to what says I love you to the person in my family that's got the cookie. That's all I got to say. If you want a cookie, you better learn how to get in that jar, boy. And you can't do that by demanding it. And that's
Best
my
thing ever.
pastoral perspective on getting it right there. It's
That's
right there
how
in the
that's how
Bible.
Jesus would want it to be done. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth, guys. Steve said it, not me. This is why I have to
Hey, I
ask him
will
on the
say it.
podcast.
I
He
am not
said
ashamed.
he said his life is great. So I'm guessing that means he opens the cookie jar. He knows how to
Amen.
do his
Amen.
job.
I have free access, unhindered access to the cookie. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow. I loved every second of that. I feel like we have to chop this up into clips because that was too good, Steve.
You're,
I want to be really cognizant of your time.
no, I'm
Um,
not. I'm cool. I'm just chilling. I'm
okay.
cool.
Is there
I did all my stuff this morning.
okay,
So you have my
perfect.
time, but I want to be sensitive to your time. If you're done, I'll go get a cookie.
Well, I want to know if there's any advice top of your mind that you might have for men of this generation besides responsibility, because you really already emphasized that. Men who maybe are feeling lost, who need to look forward, and who just like they need to clean it up. They need to clean it up. Would you have any advice for them?
Well, if awareness is 80% of the win.
Hmm.
20% is exertion. Awareness is 80%. So, if you're on a treadmill, exerting all kinds of activity and getting off the same place you get on every day of your life, you're not taking territory. You have to investigate what your what you're giving yourself permission to not do or to do. You have to investigate. And then you have to have the courage to confront yourself. You have to have the courage to say, I'm more than what I am right now. And I would tell men, look, it's already in you. Quit waiting for it to come to you. You pull it out of you. Winning isn't about what happens out there. It's you unpack what's in here. You already have the win in here. I got invited to speak to the Cincinnati Bengals a little while back before a Monday night football game. They flew me and Daniil in, and they said, hey, have at it. And so I talked about the faith, the fight, and the finish. And I was with the LA Lakers. I did motivational speaking for the Lakers for 12 years, all through their world championship years. And I do a lot with sports teams and professional sports teams, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I talked about the faith, the fight, and the finish. And I said something to them that I've never said. And they hadn't won on a Monday night against the Denver Broncos in 8 years. And the coach called our office and he said, I heard that you're like the secret sauce. And I want you to come and try to talk this team into winning. And he goes, I heard what you did with the Lakers and other sports teams. So they flew us out there, and I talked to him about it, and I said this. I said, you've already won. This is before the game. I said, you've already won. You just got to go out there on that gridiron and unpack it. And you have to fight, and you have to have faith, and you have to finish. And I just talked about team and whatever. Do you know they won that game? They won for the first time in 8 years. And I'm in the locker room after the game, and I got the game ball because I don't know why. Because I motivated them to go out having a mindset that I already win. I just have to walk out what's already been worked out. And so that's what I would tell men. Look, you know, I used to say I wasn't raised right. Nobody's been raised right. And Danielle pulled me off to the side one time in her brilliant way. She's so smart. And said, you got to quit saying that over yourself. I said, well, I wasn't raised right. She said, you were raised perfect for the people God wants you to reach. And let me just say with you, Elise, however, whatever your story is, and we all have one, some of them are sadder than others. But if you can extract the gift out of everything good or bad that's happened and employ it to serve, then you hit your sweet spot and you don't even know how you got there. So I would tell men to, have the courage to confront yourself, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And whatever is lacking in your life is a trigger to inaugurate an investigation of what untruth you're believing about yourself. So wherever you're suffering right now is the result of a lie that you've believed about yourself. And so investigate not how you're behaving, but how you're believing. And then if you change the way you believe, you will automatically change the way that you behave. Eventually, you'll eventually step into this thing where you're like, whoa, I'm happy in my relationship. I actually found a girlfriend that thinks I'm okay. She let herself be found by me. Women need to be found. They need to allow themselves to be found, and men need to go hunting. Women got to stop hunting for men. Just carry yourself available, smile every once in a while so you don't scare us at the bar. And give us a green light every once in a while. Now, if we're idiots, shut it down. But you can actually become the person that you dreamed that you could be, regardless of your father fracture, regardless of your abandonment issues by your mom, regardless of the bullying that you went through, regardless of your addiction being stronger than your conviction for a season of your life. Listen, there's nothing back there that's stronger than what's up there. So stop taking weaker things with you into stronger things. Just cut it off, unhook it. I always tell people, give it to the devil. Let him feast on it. And I'm going to go be what God's called me to be. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be relentless about it. And I'm going to have an attitude about it. Because my attitude will determine my altitude. You know that. I'm not trying to be cliche. But I'm just saying, let's go. Let's go get it. That's it. I don't know. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy. We don't have to complicate this thing. Look,
I love that.
everybody has a father fracture. Everybody. Everyone's dad did the best they could, and it wasn't enough. Everybody. So what are you going to do? Sit in it, complain about it, dwell on it, let it define you? Or are you going to get up, ding, let's go. And I don't know, like I'm throwing balls, catch the damn ball. Just catch the ball.
Exactly.
I'm throwing the ball. Catch it. Run with it. You're only as good as your receivers. Like, catch it, man. Go.
I love that.
Anyway, I'm sorry if I got a little attitude going, but welcome to Steve Hage. It's who
No,
I am.
no, you're perfectly honest and authentic, and it's exactly what we need to hear. I think that we are tiptoeing around a lot of people's feelings in today's society because we don't want to be canceled. But we need to have some harshness because people need to snap back into a reality that's going to get them somewhere. Because the reality that you live in, where nothing is wrong and nothing is your fault and nothing is your responsibility, doesn't actually get you anywhere. So, guys, if you want to see more of Steve, because he's the man, go to the link in bio and sign up for free for the Year of the Man Summit.
Let's
And if
do
you
it.
want to ask him questions personally, you can purchase VIP from the link in his bio if he has one. Or the link in mine, to see you guys at the end of February, okay? So thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate your time today, and I will see you at the end of February.
Hey, no more digging holes in the basement. Let's climb.
Let's climb.
Let's go.
All right, Steve.
All right, thank
Have a
you.
great rest of your day. Thank
All right,
you.
man.
Tell Danella I said hi. Okay,
All right,
bye.
yeah, she's just right here smiling. You want to come say hi real quick, honey? Quick. Here, here's the Instagram famous girl. She thinks my numbers are cute. I mean, she gets over 12 million views. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
This
she's
woman
amazing.
is.
She's also speaking at the Year of the Man Summit, guys.
Yeah,
So
I'm
these two
teeing her up.
superstars.
She's the
He is
closer. I'm going to
teeing her
try to
up.
get on
Yeah.
base. So we'll see.
Okay, guys. Well, I hope you have a beautiful
All right,
rest of your
ladies.
day, okay?
Thanks
All
for
right,
having us.
bye-bye.
God bless.